Mini microphone with new background. Hello, and welcome back to my little trash can. So we're just gonna get right into this today because lots of talking, lots of stuff has happened. Yes, different background, no one's home, and I'm on dog watching duty. I started this video right when Abbey got released and we had the outfit, and I started planning it as soon as we got that information. So lots of planning and research went into this doll. Again, I love the fact that Abbey is getting her own doll, but again, I will probably sadly never own this doll, so that is again why I decided to make my own. Fang votes are very hard to get if you're not a membership, or very lucky. So again, I will sadly never own this one. Love the idea of her. Will again never own her, so I'm gonna make her. But first thing is first, we do need to talk about a doll base. So Fang vote is generally used for Generation 1. I love G1. They will always have a special place in my heart, but they're really expensive right now because they're no longer in production, minus these collector dolls. I tend to use G3. I do like G3 dolls. One, they are cheaper right now because they are still being sold. And Abbey I particularly really love because I love her horns and I do really like her curves. So a good example of that is last year people really did not like the Fang vote because it was G3 Catty. But I mean, that wasn't really hard because a bunch of fan ones using G3 were better than the OG one anyway. But this is not about Catty. We've already done her. This is back to Abbey. This outfit, I generally don't get it at all. I don't like the neck thing. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a puffer thing or if it's supposed to emulate a scarf. Don't really know what's going on there. It looks kind of like it's trying to eat her head. And then the bland, odd knit dress, not my favorite thing. Again, I just don't think any of the pieces really work together, and the silhouette of the jacket to me personally just looks really off because she's got this really tiny little waist and then it immediately like does this very straight, not a nice not a nice curve. It's a very straight 90-degree angle almost, which is very odd to me. And then it also looks more akin to an historical dress more than a modern take on athletic wear, which is what the notes say. This year they did have a little more behind the scenes images of it and they explained a bit of that, and they were comparing it to a new take on athletic wear. In my opinion, since when do we see athletes wearing dresses? Especially for winter, no idea what they were going for. To me, it looks more like those high-end, like, kind of mockery videos of people wearing very skimpy ski lodge outfits where they're not really there for anything, but just to look funny. Like, they're not actually there for the snow. They are there to look very nice. I tried a lot of ways to get down. So you're looking at the first time, I wrote just like some ideas of what I wanted to do with this. I really tried to work it out. Was I going to go just for one like I did last year for Abbey? Or was I going to like do my own take, which I really wanted to do? So it was kind of like, which way do I want to go? So this first round, I was going to try and keep 3 main items, which was going to be this big statement piece jacket, because that seemed to be like the big money-making piece where a lot of the budget did go into it. And yes, it is very nice and very, not practical, it is a very statement piece, is what I'm trying to say. So I thought that was very important to at least keep an aspect of that. I also wanted to maybe try and keep more toward the dress aspect of it and the athletic wear of it. The jacket is going to be one of the main items that really is a showcase. The second item was going to be the main outfit, which is, in the OG doll, the boring knit dress. And the third one is going to be like this puffer thing, because they're all supposedly different pieces. So I was like, okay. The first design, I was like, maybe I don't like the big design because of just all these weird different things. So let's scrap 2 of the ideas. So I took off the big puffer thing, and we're scrapping the dress. And then what if she did like a jumpsuit? Because again, a jumpsuit is a bit more athletic wear, and I looked up like ski lodge things and lodging. I say ski lodge because it is like a mountain. She is a mountain ghoul, so I don't know of any like cabins up in the snow. So I was like, okay, maybe we'll do the jumpsuit and the jacket and scrap the puffer thing, and maybe that will make you like it more. It sort of did. So I am going to lean more into the athletic wear, and again, I think the puffer thing around the neck and the dress leaned it more not into athletic wear, because again, athletes do wear jackets over their jumpsuits and athletic wear. So I'm going more into the athletic wear versus the very like dress and heels looking thing. Right now I'm just trying to figure out what jumper and shoes I'm going to have on the snowboard. And maybe I'm thinking a snowboard, because we all have known Abbey to do snowboardings. Why are they so hard? I'm so tired. Abbey is known to enjoy snowboarding, so it would not make sense if she was up in the mountains and could not enjoy her favorite activity. I was thinking about giving her a snowboard for that reason. Words. I'm so tired. However, I do fear maybe that Fang Boat was part to blame. Like, instead of a purse for this doll, maybe we should have gotten like a snowboard design for her. Or maybe instead of the heels that kind of blended in, we should have maybe gotten more like Uggs or like more of a snow boot effort. Because again, she is a yeti and she is fashionable, but I just don't necessarily know if they would go. Like, again, I don't know the shoe options that we got for voting were the correct. I don't necessarily know if it went with what it was trying to insinuate. It just felt like all of the pieces didn't match. Anyway, this was just a bit disheartening for me. Yeah, I really was excited for Abbey, and the final doll, again, I just don't know. I just don't think any of the pieces work, and that's a bit disheartening for me. I ended up ordering the jumpsuit by itself, and then I ended up getting Sunny's boots from Rainbow High as well. Same line on all of these, and then I ended up getting Ruby's snowboard because it was the most bland and easy to paint over it. Seriously, guys. I get that the accessories were kind of like an afterthought, but I feel like Ruby herself would be way more interested in colorful things than just a white snowboard with sparkle in red on it. So I ended up going with more of their take on her passions instead of just her heritage like I did. Well, not like what I did, because I've not done the other ones, but like what they've done with the first two Fang votes. So that is particularly another good reason why I decided to go with athletic versus the more historically, culturally, not appropriate, I guess, inspired dress, because I just don't think I'm the right person, and it's a very conflicting styles between trying to mix all of those cultures together. So I'm just not going to touch that. Don't want to offend anyone. So we're just going to go with athletic because they have shown that it is something that Fang Vote is willing to do and has done before. And I think it would be a really nice change if they had done it Abbey in this way, putting her in a jumpsuit, because again, we don't get a lot of pants. Dresses are a lot easier to make and more feminine, which I don't think they do it because it's like necessarily more feminine. I just think they do it because it's more cost effective. So I think that is why we get a lot of skirts and stuff. So it would have been really cool to see like a pants or like a jumpsuit. I don't necessarily know if like Monster High has ever done like a jumpsuit before. I know they have overalls for Venus, but I don't necessarily think they have a jumpsuit. So while we wait for everything to arrive, actually getting back to the doll, because mail is slow, we're going to start on the hair. So I got Self Scare Abbey, and she has a bit more of white hair, which I really enjoy. So I am not going to reroot her at all because I really like this hair. Now, unfortunately, at this point, I did have to take a break from her. I just had a lot of life things happen. So yeah, it sucks, but there was a good month that I just wasn't able to do it, and I kind of, again, wasn't really sure that this is the way I wanted to go. When I finally came back to the doll, I was still working on the final sketch that I had done. So I started doing the jumpsuit because the jumpsuit has come in, everything has come in at this point. And the jumpsuit does fit Abbey, by the way. So I have a spare Abbey. Again, love this doll. So I have a couple of different styles of her. So I put her on the other body so I could sew fabric onto the jumpsuit and it would still fit her body because the jumpsuit is very stretchy. So when I was thinking about what to put on this, I realized Abbey has some amazing fabrics, specifically the one that came with Self-Scare. I really wanted to try and use the dark blue and it had like a purple shine to it design. I really wanted to use that because, again, I do think the OG one is a bit dark. Abbey does have a lot of accent purples in her, and I wish it would have been a little bit more incorporated into that. I love the dark aesthetic of her, but again, it needed to be taken out of her hair because I do think they still had like the purple streaks in her hair. Just get rid of the purple or add a little bit more purple because it kind of just seems like crazy in there. So I would want to end up making sure I had all of her signature colors in there. I ended up taking the skirt and using that fabric for leg. They had these like weird little leg insert things on the design of the jumpsuit, so I ended up just taking that fabric that I had of the skirt and using that for that. And then I also realized that, keeping with the snowflake theme, the G3 pants that Abbey comes with have this really pretty light purple, but also have this snow pattern to it. So that would be keeping with like the snow theme. So I actually ended up needing 2 pairs of pants for that. So again, Bakari jumped on, saved my skin on that because I didn't have to buy a whole new one. So I took those apart and put those on the light blue section. And then I couldn't necessarily get the fabric to stretch all the time in the correct so it lines up really seamlessly. So in order to do that, well, not to fix that, but to hide my mistakes, I cut out some fur that I had and used that and sewed it along just the light blue of the jumpsuit. This actually does work because Abbey does accessorize with fur. I think this is, again, part of just the cultural heritage of her, whatever Yeti culture is, because from my understanding or interpretation of G1, I don't watch G3 shows, so I'm sorry. I only watch G1. I find them more interesting. But from my understanding of G1 and interpretation, that Abbey has a crystal that she has to wear to keep the temperature around her cold. So my idea is that she doesn't necessarily get cold. So the fur, in typical sense, is used to insulate and keep things warm. But I think for Yetis, I think it's a symbolization of just the yaks and the thankfulness that they use for yaks, and it is just a detail for them, not necessarily a symbol of warmth. So I do think the fur, I'm calling it yak fur, but it is just not fur. It is fur, but it's fake fur, is going to be representation of different yak furs on there. At this point, I was still trying to decide if I wanted to make the jacket or not, because again, I didn't know that. And it was like, the jacket's okay. I got away from the silhouette and it was just a basic jacket at this point. But it still didn't sit right with me. So I was talking to my fiance about it. I was like explaining everything, showing him pictures. And I was like, what do you think? Because I feel like I'm too much into this doll that I don't know anymore. And he says, and he agreed with me that it would be a bit weird if it did have a jacket. So instead of a jacket, I'm going to put a helmet on her. And I did want to give her really big horns because G3 does have horns and G1 doesn't. So I did want to accent those. But since we are going more athletic, we're ditching the jacket and giving her a snowboard. I wanted her to be safe and wear a helmet. So I think for safety, I'm going to ditch the big horns and give her a helmet instead. Because I think Abbey would prefer safety being monsterly gorgeous if there's not a way to do both. So again, scrap the coat, and then here is the final concept art. Again, I've gone through so many variations of this, so many color schemes, so many everything, that it's just not, it's not even funny. And then I also started earring bases. I'm going to forfeit those because, again, for safety, I don't think you're going to have gaudy earrings when you're out on the slopes. That sounds like I hit the mic. Oh. Abbey would be more about safety than looking good. Okay, and then for the hairstyle and makeup, like normal, but the hair would be now have to fit under the helmet. If they wanted to do more of the heritage, she does not do a lot of accessories, a lot of this. She is very minimalist. So it would have been in her outfits at least, because like, she is more in a harsher condition, unlike France going to Rochelle's doll again, where you could have all these like flouncy things, the patterns, the wings, the details and stuff. I don't know what I'm saying, okay? Abbey just doesn't have a lot of accessories usually. But it would have been really cool to see like a really killer design doll. I would have loved to see what Mattel could have done with this concept if they really just went with athletic. I'm just so disappointed with what it could have been, okay? When I think about what I ended up doing, and then it's like, what if Mattel did this? What if like the Fang boat people had like custom helmet for Abbey, and then it's like they did their own ski version, not ski version, but like snowboarding version, and see what they could come up with, because I think it would have been a lot better of a turnout than what the weird thing we got was. But yeah, just something to think about, something we could have gotten but didn't get. So now we gotta find a helmet. So G3 has 2 helmets. I forgot about one until I was scrolling Macari the other day and saw it, but I totally forgot this one existed. So in my mind, there was only one, and that was Dracula Laura scooter helmet. But we think it should have been Ghoulia, but Ghoulia doesn't sell very well, so it was Draculaura. So I was having to find the Draculaura helmet, so I went on Macari again. And about that time, I was in Tulsa and just happened to go by our Ross and find the Draculaura scooter playset. So, haha Macari, you did not get me on the helmet, because I just bought the playset. So now the saying is, I have a scooter and the helmet. So yeah, so didn't use Macari, still love them, but anyway, have the helmet now. And now we're going to go on to painting. Again, I did the painting a little bit differently, so there's going to be a bit more voiceover on that. So I'm going to talk just more about the accessories. So when painting the helmet, I just did a white base, and then on this part of it, like the center of it, the center of the helmet, there was a Draculaura skeleton, but I turned that into an Abbey skeleton. There was a heart right above it. I tried to turn that into Shiver, her mammoth pet. And then there was a little smudge on this side of the helmet that I got lazy and didn't want to repaint. So I went, my cat loves to step in paint. I wonder if Shiver would like step in paint when doing like a helping hand project and just stepped on her helmet. So I tried to do a little mammoth footprint for Shiver on the side of it, so Shiver is always with her when she's competing. So yeah, for her boots, they do fit. They are Sunny's boots again. I ended up just painting them white. They were already white mostly, but just going over with a clear white so they match everything else. And then for the bottom part of the shoe, the base and the heel, I went in with that light purple to match the jumpsuit of the light purple, and then I went in with some dark blue details just on the laces. For the snowboard, the top, I just wanted to do a full color of light purple just to try to keep the color scheme going. On the back, I really wanted to do a full face Yeti with ice cracking in the background, but I just don't feel like I have the skills, nor the paintbrushes, nor the patience to do all that yet, so I settled on just a simple silhouette of a footprint, which is based on one of the patterns on her original jacket. And then I still kept the ice breaking in the background. I think it turned out okay. Again, I was disappointed with what it could have been, and I just was upset that my skills didn't match that. And with the dictator always trying to sit on things, I couldn't zone in and really like figure out what I needed to do, and I was really done with the dictator at that point. I'm not gonna lie. Now, just putting it all together, I ended up doing her hair off camera because she does have the horns, and I couldn't figure out a way to do the braids around her horns. So it was kind of a touchy hit and go subject. And then off camera, I also added a bit of extra fur details on just like the little bits that I thought needed more coverage, that had gaps on them, with just switching the dolls from the outfits. So again, I think those were good touches. Okay, and now we're going on to the final looks now. So, general observations. Looking at mine versus the Fang vote, I like my idea more, but I think oh my gosh. Yeah, I think the Skeletor doll is better executed, just because it really upsets me that my skills aren't there yet. Looking at it now, I do think I want to come back and try it and again in a few years when my skills are better, because I feel like she needs a lot of custom designed items. One thing is like the helmet was specifically made for Draculaura, so it has wings and specific things that Draculaura likes. And then it's like the snowboard. I wish I could have definitely done the Yeti on that, but again, my skills aren't there. I accidentally wiped the face off. So again, I had to do the eyes, and my eye skills are not good. I'm baby when it comes to face ups. But I like her as a whole. I do think she is a solid concept idea and a good showing of what maybe my skills are right now. And I'm excited to see how far I can actually go when I come back to her, because again, I really like the idea and I think it's a solid concept. But again, looking at the two of them together, it is wildly different. It's the same character, but two very different things. I feel like mine definitely screams more of like a modern athletic versus the Fangboat one, and I will probably always stand by that. I will probably always stand by the Fangboat is not athletic wear, even though I don't know why they wanted a modern take on athletic. It just doesn't scream that to me. It screams like she's modeling something Claudine made. Again, nothing wrong with that. I just don't see athletic, and I don't necessarily see Abbey in that either. But again, just my opinions. Again, my skills definitely showed their weaknesses in this, so I am not thrilled with how these dolls ended up, but no, I did what I could, and I would love to see if anyone else does something different with her. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm gonna go back into my little trash can now. Bye guys!